Yay, more reviews. Okay, I just got back from seeing Dragonball Evolutuion, so now I'm going to review that and observe and report. So, let's start with observe and report, because it's a good movie, and I want to start off on a good foot, that's why. Essentially, Seth Rogen, who everybody has seen in probably at least 4 movies by now, because probably everyone that I know has seen 40-year-old Virgin and has seen Superbad and has seen Pineapple Express, so that's at least 3, and you've probably seen him in small roles in other movies too. I mean, he was a tiny role in Step Brothers, and obviously he was in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and I don't know, he's in everything nowadays. He makes at least 2 or 3 movies a year now, and now he's in this. So, is it good? Yes. Is it your stereotypical Apatow film? No. Well, actually, I'm going to take that back, because the first Judd Apatow produced movie I can remember being made back in 1996 was The Cable Guy. And the 2 films share a lot of similarities in my mind. They're both very dark comedies, albeit Observe and Report goes for a lot more gross-out gags than Cable Guy did, and there's a lot more language and nudity, obviously, in Observe and Report than in Cable Guy. But they're very dark comedies. They take mental problems to a whole new level. Essentially, this movie takes Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver, that's been said quite a few times, and they make him into a more goofy sort of quote-spewing type character. More Seth Rogen-esque, I guess, but he's still nowhere near the stereotypical Seth Rogen role. And they throw him into a mall cop position, head of mall security, excuse me, and he essentially is trying to stop a flasher who he believes is actually going to step it up to being a serial killer. And he's bipolar, so it's real that he takes medication for this obvious mental disturbance. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's a lot of really deadpan humor sometimes, some really gross out gags. But really at its heart, it's a straight up dark comedy. A lot of people are ascribing a real unevenness to this movie. And I think it blends pretty well. I disagree with a lot of people, including Fury of the Film Fan, no offense, who say that it tries too hard to be a Seth Rogen comedy where it should have been delving into the darkness of this character. This is not Taxi Driver 2 or Taxi Driver being remade as mall cop or security guard. It's a comedy. I mean, and it still has a lot of comedic moments. And I think people were wanting it to be just a straight up, drama with a couple oddly funny moments with a lot of disturbing elements like Taxi Driver was. Really, they should stop comparing them, because this is still at heart a comedy. It is not trying to be delving into the deepness of this character. It does occasionally get a little bit deeper, and there's obviously some social commentary going on here, but it's not supposed to be at the level of an Oscar-y type movie. It's not trying to be a There Will Be Blood. It's not trying to be a Sweeney Todd or a movie that delves into the darkness of the lead characters. It's not trying to do that. It's a comedy. And I think people should lighten up a little bit and not try to expect so much from it and think that it should have gone one way or the other, because I think it finds that line and stays on it until the ending, which goes full-out comedy, at least in my mind. Obviously, there's still a lot of darkness and a lot of really pretty outrageous stuff, but the last 10 minutes of the movie cement it as a pretty solidly comedic film in my mind. I think Seth Rogen does a great job in his role. I think this is his best acting job by far. Overall, I have a lot of great memories and feelings from this movie, and I definitely want to see it again. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I think, well, Watchmen's still playing. I was going to say this is the best movie other than Adventureland playing, but Watchmen's still playing. Those 3 movies, they're the only movies playing that are worth watching at all. Okay, now, more than 5 minutes into this review, I'm going to have to hurry this up. We get to Dragon Ball Evolution. To make it short, this movie sucks. It sucks balls. It really does. Reason being, okay, I have absolutely no connection to the characters. I know nothing about Dragon Ball at all. My friend paid for me. So I went into this movie. I knew it was only 95 minutes long, roughly, so I was like, okay, it's not very long. I'm just going to, hopefully this will zoom by pretty fast. And that's about the best thing I can say, other than the fact that there are a few good visual effects shots. The fact that it goes by fast is a good asset for the movie. This movie, I think, suffers from the fact that it was based off a Japanese manga, which I know no facts about at all. They Americanize it, and I can tell, because I've seen this done before. Then they place it in an American high school. I don't know. In the manga, does Goku go to an American high school? And does he get picked on by American bullies who do stereotypical things that bullies in movies do that I've never seen any real bully do? You know, are half the characters in the manga completely white, yet have ridiculously retarded names like Bulma Briefs? I mean, if you're going to change everything about the setting and put it in this big, huge metropolitan city, and change the names of the characters, please. I know a lot of people would be like, well, it's not going to be the same if the characters aren't Goku, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? If you're going to change every single thing else, just change the character names, because the character names are retarded. It doesn't fit. It feels like we're in a sort of surreal parallel universe akin to the Johnny Quest universe, where somehow it's set in the 60s, yet there's tons of futuristic buildings and equipment and weapons laying around that just doesn't seem to match properly. And based on some posters in Goku's room, this takes place after 2010. So I'm confused, to say the least. Not to mention the movie. I mean, if you've seen the TV show and I guess read the manga, you know that what the big reveal is. It's probably not a big reveal. You probably know it from the beginning in the manga, but there's a big reveal at the end of the movie that makes no sense if you have no connection to this source material, and there's no lead up to this big stupid twist ending and this big retarded fight scene. And the special effects. There's a transformation scene where one of the characters transforms into a creature that's about as bad as the ending to Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And if you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. And then the creature looks like one of the rejects of Van Helsing. So yeah, the effects of that particular part are terrible. I guess the rest of the visual effects aren't terrible. They're okay, but there's not a lot of CG work other than that sequence, and a lot of work that's very easily done, a lot of energy strobing, ethereal effects that if we're in a video game would look exactly the same as if they were in, the movie. It doesn't really matter what the glowing orbs look like. They'd be at home in either of them. I don't know. There were so many moments where I slapped my head and I thought, they can't be this retarded to just put this in a movie. And I would say it's a kid's movie, but this would even insult kids. They'd be like, Mommy, why is this movie exactly the same as every other movie you take me to see? Why don't you go take me to see a good kid's movie? How come you never let me saw Wall-E? How come we went and saw Space Chimps instead? I don't know. 1 star for Dragon Ball. Why do I even bother seeing these genre/adaptations anymore, horror remakes? I know they're going to suck. Why am I watching them? Because I want to be complete in my love for geek films? I mean, when are we going to get another really good adaptation of a manga or a video game or a horror remake or a science fiction fantasy type film that doesn't totally suck? Oh, well. I'm 10 minutes into this. I got to end this. Until next time, Great Bob Ross.